This is 2.7 parallel and perpendicular lines. Learning target. I can write equations that are parallel and perpendicular to an equation through a given point. And it's important to know the rules of parallel and perpendicular slopes. So I'm going to do a couple, total of 14 problems. I'm going to do maybe 4. So let's look at the first one. First thing you should always look for is if it's asking you for a parallel or perpendicular. Right there it says parallel with a slope of 1/3. Remember the rules for parallel. Parallel means same slope. So, if my slope needs to be parallel to this slope that's given, to me my slope is going to be the same, negative 1/3. And then the other part is they said it needs to go through this point. And that gives you a huge hint of what you need to do. Okay, this point is x1, y1. So now you just plug it into your point slope form and to make it into a slope intercept. So remember your point slope your point slope is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. That's your point slope. So you're going to use these both to get to your slope intercept. What they're asking you. So first, y minus negative 1, because that's your y1, is equal to negative 1/3 x minus 3. So that's your point slope. We got to make it into point slope intercept, which is y by itself on the left side. So first thing I need to do is I need to distribute this and clean up the y. So that's y plus 1 now is equal to negative 1/3 times x. That's just negative 1/3 x. And then negative 1/3 times negative 3. So remember when you're multiplying fractions, I have a negative that's going to become positive. So I have a 1 times 3 over 3. You know that 1 times 3 is 3. And then you know that 3 divided by 3 is equal to 1. And then last step you need to do, minus 1 to both sides. And you get the answer y is equal to negative 1/3 x. That's your answer. So that's in slope intercept form. The slope is the same, and you can check that it goes through the point 3, 1. Okay, 3 looks a little bit different. So in number 1, they tell you exactly what the slope is. On number 3, they don't tell you what the slope is. It's there, but it's kind of not implied or not directly given to you. So first, they want us to write a parallel slope to this equation. Remember our slope intercept form, y equals mx plus b. This m, that is your slope. So in the case of y equals 2x, 2 is your slope. So for our equation, our m is going to be 2, because slope is the same line, or the same slope for parallel lines. And again, here's our x1, here's your y1. First thing we need to do is put into slope intercept form. So I have y minus 5 is equal to our slope, x minus 3. And then now we got to solve for y. Distribute. You have y minus 5 is equal to 2x minus 6. Then I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So I get y is equal to 2x minus 1. Let's look at number 5. First thing, read the directions. Perpendicular with a slope of 1/4. Remember that perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. But remember that opposite reciprocal is a long word. What we're doing is we're flipping it. Flip flip the fraction, and you have to change the sign. So for number 5, and again we have x1, y1 here. So first thing, we need to identify our m. So here our slope here is 1/4. That means our m is going to be 4/1, because we flip our fraction, and then with a negative sign, changing the sign, which is the same as -4. So again, write it in slope-intercept form. Y minus 2 is equal to -4 x minus 1. I'm going to distribute. I get y minus 2 is equal to -4x plus 4. Last step, plus 2 to both sides. I get y is equal to -4x plus 6. Okay, one more. Let's look at number 7. So 7, here they give you a full equation, perpendicular to this full equation. Remember, like I said, the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. That tells you what your slope is. Y equals mx plus b. And the m is your slope. In this case, your slope is going to be -1/8. So you don't even need to worry about this 1 over here. We're not going to worry about that right now. We just need the m, the slope. So in this case, the slope given to you is -1/8. That means your slope that you need is, first thing we need to do is flip the fraction, 8/1. And it's rated negative, so we're going to change it to a positive. You know, the 8/1 is 8. Here's your x1, here's your y1. So y minus 5 is equal to x, or equal to 8, x minus 1. Then we have to distribute. So we get y minus 5 is equal to 8x minus 8 plus 5 to both sides. Y is equal to 8x minus 3. Okay, so the rest of them are pretty much the same. Make sure the important part is make sure you read the direction if it's asking for parallel or perpendicular. Number 14 is going to challenge you, but here's a hint. Y equals 1 is, y equals 1 looks like this. Where this is 1. Okay? They need to find a perpendicular line to that goes through 5, 5.